Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and we today are going to be talking about my top 3 fragrances that I tried out in October, so stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. So this was a pretty good month. I got through a lot of different fragrances, and I did get to try a lot of new fragrances as well. Got a lot of reviews, so things were nice in the fragrance world. And so today I'm going to talk about top 3. There easily could have been more this month, but I decided to stick to a top 3 just to make sure I really put out the best fragrances that I tried last month. Now, the first one is actually one that I did a first impression of, and to be honest with you, I kind of didn't know what to think of it at first. And it's one that in the opening, it's a little bit kind of lackluster, I feel, but it really grows into something really, really nice. And that fragrance is Oh My Soul by 4160 Tuesday. I've now tried a handful of fragrances from them, and I actually think they are potentially, or looking like, an undiscovered gem of a house. Now, I know they're not completely undiscovered. Certainly people talk about this house, but I think they have a lot of good fragrances that don't get talked about. So I will try and get more samples from them and try out more of the fragrances, but as is, I do think they have a lot of good things to offer. Now, Oh My Soul, I think the thing is that it seemed like a lot of strange things going on, and I think I was expecting a lot of honey. And in that first, 10 minutes or so, there wasn't that much going on with it, but it really did develop into a nice, beautiful fragrance. That honey started to come out, and it started to become a really robust and somewhat sensual fragrance. I am going to have to do a full review on this one, just because it is more of a complex fragrance, which does make it interesting in some respects because it has a lot to it. But it is one that definitely takes a little while to unfold and become something really, really amazing. Now, it does perform really well as well. I think I got like 10 hours with it. So, I had a long time to smell it and to think about it after the initial first impressions that I did with that one. But ultimately, very nice fragrance from the house, and I am definitely going to be trying to do a full review of it sometime this month in November. Mostly because I want to, but also because I think the season is right for the fragrance. It's definitely a cold weather friend. Now, the next one I tried the next one on the list anyways, was Rehab. Heard a lot about this fragrance. I actually tried it once in the store almost a year ago, and I was really not impressed with it, and I didn't think it smelled much like Spice Bomb, but I guess that's part of what happens sometimes when you smell it in the store. You don't get a real feel for the fragrance. In fact, it didn't really, I got a lot of lavender, which is funny because I don't think I smelled any of that when I tried it again here on my skin. Now, it does smell an awful lot like Spice Bomb. So I have the Extreme, I have Spice Bomb Extreme, and this might be the main reason why I wouldn't buy Rehab. But if I didn't have any of them, I certainly might get Rehab if I could get a good price on it. It is much better blended. It's much smoother, much crisper. The spice has a lot more character to it, and it almost has that sort of grainy kind of feel. And I find the spice in Spice Bomb Extreme, I love that fragrance, but it is super pepper heavy. This is more like a robust, nice, sensual and gentlemanly, spicy vibe. And the spices remind me a little bit more of Spice Blend, just again, in how they're a little bit more robust. It is nice and sweetness. And it's really nice? It has that Coca-Cola gummy vibe that I absolutely love with fragrances. So this one, especially in the opening, and I think it's something to do with a mixture of vanilla and spices or whatever, it just reminds me of Coca-Cola gummies, which I absolutely loved as a kid. I would go up to 7-Eleven all the time and buy Coca-Cola gummies. They were 25 cents and they tasted delicious. And so it gives me that memory, and I love it when a fragrance does that. But in that sense, Spice Bomb also does that for me. So it really is something that is very similar to Spice Bomb, just more luxurious, more classy, more gentlemanly, and better blended. Really is kind of the best impression for it. Like I said, if you don't want to spend the extra money, it's kind of like deciding on whether you want to get Pure Havana or Naxos. For me, I ended up getting a really good price on Naxos, and I split it, so I didn't really spend that much money. And so for me, I think it was worth it. But given that I already have Spice Bomb Extreme, probably won't pick up Rehab anytime soon. I might end up picking it up sometime in the future, but we'll see how it goes. Now, the last one on the list turned out to be a little bit of a surprise because, I mean, I did like it in the opening, and I think I gave it a pretty favorable first impression. But the way it dried down, it just got better and better and better. And so that fragrance was Molt by Acro. And I've heard mixed reviews on this one. So some people don't like this one at all. And it is one that is really, really boozy. So on the opening, I definitely get a real feel of a single malt whiskey. And it's not overdone. So it's not to the point of where I personally don't want to smell it. I don't really like Scotch whiskey. I'm more of a rye whiskey drinker if I'm going to drink whiskey. And so I still enjoyed it quite a bit, but it has more of that remnants of a single malt whiskey. And I do believe, if I recall correctly, there's even a little bit of woodiness giving you that sort of cask feel in there. And it just dries down and becomes more smooth and more sensual and more beautiful. Now, this is one that originally I compared to Single Malt by Killian, which I think is a fair comparison because they're kind of aiming for and doing a very, very similar thing. And especially after moving into the dry down, I'm not sure if I actually like Single Malt better than Malt. I'm going to have to do maybe a comparison of those two and really get into the nitty gritty of which one I actually think is better. I do like how Single Malt smells a little bit more like rye whiskey, which is something I really enjoy about that fragrance. But the dry down on Malt is just so smooth, so sensual, and so delicious. Really, really do enjoy that one. And so I'm definitely glad that I decided to give that one, I had it on, and I definitely smelled it more and more as the day went by, and I really did enjoy that one. So that's the list. I guess I'll give you one honorable mention, just to because it was actually a bit of a tough list to make. And that honorable mention is actually going to be Club de Nuit Intense Man. I am not a big Aventus fan. I might have put this on the list if I really loved Aventus. But I was surprised with this fragrance because it's one that is very polarizing in the community. And so I had to check it out. I had to try it and see what all the love and hate was about. And I will say that, yes, the opening is definitely very different from Aventus, but it's nowhere near as harsh as people say, and it doesn't really give a lemon pledge vibe. Lemon is quite strong, and that's always the risk with any lemon fragrance, is that it's going to smell like cleaning product. Even a lemon heavy Roja fragrance can fall prey to that scent memory depending on how the lemon is executed. So it's always a risky thing, but I actually get a little bit more of a lemonade vibe, or like that flavored drinking water, like a Mio or something. That lemon flavor, it reminds me a lot of that. But as it goes into the dry down, it's a little bit birchy, a little bit musky, and it is pretty well done. And I think a lot of people, if you're looking for Aventus, but you don't want to pay Aventus prices, it's actually a pretty good clone. And for the price point, I don't think there's anything in that price range that's as good. But there are, I think, better clones. To me, I always say the best one is Emperor EDP. But again, there's a huge price difference between those two. I think that one's over $100, and then you can get, Club de Nuit Intense Man for $25, something like that. So again, huge price point difference, and within that range, even anything under $50, I haven't personally tried anything under $50 that is as good as that one. And it does perform at least as good as the Aventus that I have tried. I got an easy 6 hours out of it, which isn't fantastic. And I don't think it's absolutely beast mode like some people have said. Some people have said it's been reformulated. So I don't know if that's the situation. It does perform well, though. So the projection is there, the sillage is there, and the longevity isn't horrible, again, especially for a $25 fragrance. But those are the top three with the one honorable mention. I'm so tempted to mention some other fragrances. I just will quickly say that Sloth, I know I tried that one out, dried down really, really nicely, so I might do a full review on that one as well. But it did definitely change into a very positive, very enjoyable direction. But anyways, that's it for that one. I'm going to cut the video right there. Let me know in a comment down below, what fragrances did you try this month? Anything exciting? What was the best from October for you? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.